For self-driving, even if the road is painted completely wrong, and a UFO lands in the middle of the road, the car still cannot crash and still needs to do the right thing.
And I never seen anything, never ever seen anything quite like what you've got in the new self-driving thing. This is just absolutely brilliant. This should get into the marketplace as fast as possible. This will save more lives than airbags, seat belts, and anything else that anybody's ever gotten.
Well, I think actually that's one of the things we're going to program into the car. That if you fall asleep in the car, it'll just take you home.
Yeah.
Like it's most likely that's where you want to go.
Yes. And that's a great idea. Yeah.
And then we're even going to have it like so. If it detects that you're having issues, it'll take you to the hospital.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. If you're an engineering nerd, this is your lucky day. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to some clips from a recent interview between the automotive expert of experts and a massive engineering nerd, Sandy Munro, and the world's actual best engineer, Elon Musk. There's a link in the description to the full interview which I highly recommend you guys check out. It runs for almost 1 hour and it's an absolute goldmine. But in this video, we're just going to be focusing on a few comments regarding full self-driving, Tesla's incredible manufacturing progress, including the implications of the gigantic Gigacasting in the Model Y, and some thoughts around leadership. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Like what really matters, like the prime directive for the autopilot system is don't crash. Like that really overrides everything. So no matter what the lines say or how the road is done, the thing that needs to happen is minimizing the probability of impact while getting you to your destination conveniently and comfortably. But the prime directive, absolute priority is minimize probability of injury to yourself or to anyone on the road, on the pedestrians or anything like that. So, and it's really, it can't be dependent on the road markings being correct or anything like that. It's just got to be, no matter what, it's not going to crash.
He gave us a ride, okay, and we taped it, and you can hear me going. You know, my voice went up about 3 octaves. I was so excited. Corey said he's got a sore ear from me giggling or whatever. I've sat in F-18s. I didn't fly them, but I was sat in them and I saw how everything was supposed to work on the ground. Yeah. I flew, or through a simulator, I flew a C-17. I know what you can do and what you can't do, what autopilot will get it. And I never seen anything, never ever seen anything quite like what you've got in the new self-driving thing. This is just absolutely brilliant. This should get into the marketplace as fast as possible. It's accurate. It's much more accurate than what we have in the Model 3. It's accurate. It's kind of aggressive because if there's a hole, it'll find that hole. It makes left-hand turns, which I've heard from everybody can't be done. I mean, these are the things that this will save more lives than airbags, seat belts, and anything else that anybody's ever gotten. Because
I think that's correct. It will. Yeah.
I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it. And I have some videotape, and I just asked you for using it. I want to put that out. I want the rest of the world to know what the new standard is, because in the auto world, some people are going to win, some people are going to lose, and some are just going to fade away. The more they fade away, the worse it's going to be for the general population. But I'm telling you, that system, I don't know who you developed or how it developed, but that is absolutely
developed
stunning.
Internally. Like we developed the hardware and the software. We've got a very talented team that we built from scratch at Tesla for autopilot software and autopilot hardware. We've got really a lot of talented people.
Do I really even need to say anything? Sandy Munro is absolutely blown away by Tesla's full self-driving beta software. By the way, shout out to Tesla owner Silicon Valley. Thanks for hooking Sandy up with a ride so he could experience this mind-blowing technology. I mean, the guy just cannot stop ranting and raving about this. And obviously, this ranting and raving is all coming down to the fact that full self-driving is going to be superhuman in terms of safety and literally save millions of lives. Now guys, just some fair warning, make sure you are sitting down for the next clip. If you're an engineering nerd and or you own Tesla stock, this is extremely important information, so take notes.
The sort of wheelhouse areas of the body, there was a lot of engineering done, and there were a lot of right answers to the wrong question. So somebody would say like, well, what's the best material to make this little section of the body out of? And what's the right material to make this little section? And I think we've got probably the best material science team in the world at Tesla, and then actually a lot of them also do work at SpaceX as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming to that question too. Or yeah.
Yeah. The engineers would ask, what's the best material for this purpose, best material for that, and they got like 50 different answers. And they were all true individually, but they were not true collectively.
Right.
And when you try to join all these dissimilar dissimilar alloys, and you have galvanic corrosion, so you've got to have better seal, and you've got gaps that you've got to seal, and you've got to join these things, and some of them don't. Some of them need to be joined with rivets. Some of them need to be joined with spot welds. Some of them need to be joined with resin or resin and spot welds. And it looks, frankly, it looks like a sort of a bit of a Frankenstein situation when you look at it all together. And it's I can't emphasize enough the nightmare of sealing in between the gaps. That is like that might be the most painful job in the whole factory is spackling on the sealant.
Yeah.
And then you have a little. If there's like a little error with curing the sealant, or like just somebody who's been working for several hours makes a slight mistake, then you've got now you've got an MBH issue because you've got a little hole, and you've got a leak issue, and it's just like this is terrible. So, I mean, you can muscle through it, and we have, but it's just way better to have a single piece casting, and then you don't have any gaps, no sealant, you don't have dissimilar metals. And you can reduce the size of the body shop dramatically.
Right.
So just having the rear body castings for Model Y allowed us to reduce the body shop by 30%.
Yeah.
So there's roughly 1,000 robots on the Model 3 body line, which, by the way, is also not a figure of merit. You want fewer things, not more.
Yeah.
We got rid of 300 robots just with that rear body casting.
Yeah.
And then when we go to the front body casting, we'll get rid of another 300 robots.
Right.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about this. I mean, this is a staggering piece of information. I mean, really, this is staggering, okay? Elon Musk there suggesting that the Model 3 production line had around 1,000 robots. In creating the rear of the Model Y from a single gigantic cast piece, they have deleted 300 robots, even more parts and processes, saving an enormous amount of time, money, and complexity. And it gets better. Once the front of the Model Y is also a single rear cast piece, another 300 robots out the window. Even more factory floor space saved, time saved, processes, parts deleted. Let's think about this. Tesla, in the span of one generation from vehicle to vehicle, Model 3 to Model Y, with this new technology of the gigantic casting, in total have deleted around 60% of the robots necessary to produce the vehicle, around 60% of the factory footprint, deleted an enormous amount of complexity, parts, and processes. I mean, what even is this? Deleting one robot, one part, one process would be a massive milestone. 2 or 3, even 10 or 12 would be amazing. 300? What the actual fuck?
The cells today in every car are carried like a sack of potatoes. Exactly. They actually have negative structural value because not only they don't serve to aid in the structure of the car, and they have to be isolated from the rest from the rest of the car. So it's isolated from vibration and shock loads and that kind of thing. So then you've got to put mass into isolating the cells, because otherwise they'll bang against the side of the battery casing, and that's not good.
Yeah.
But by essentially bonding the cells in there, and where the bonding foam serves as both an adhesive and a fire retardant,
Yeah.
You basically get 2 birds with one stone.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing is probably the most controversial. You made comments which I've been saying for years. At Monroe, if you want to get your master's, I'll pay for it. If you want to take a course in mechanics or something, I'll pay for it. Even if you want to take a wood carving thing, I'll pay for it. But I will not pay for an MBA. I won't do it ever, never. So you made a comment, and I started tap dancing because people listen to you. I don't get the same kind of respect, but people listen to you, and I really, really was excited when you talked about that. So if you can elaborate on that a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, I think just generally the path to leadership should not be through basically MBA business school situation. It's like it should be kind of work your way up, do useful things, and and there's a bit too much of somebody goes to a high-profile MBA school and then kind of parachutes in as the leader, but they don't actually know how things work. They can be good at, say, PowerPoint presentations or something like that, and they can present well, but they don't actually know how things work because they do not, they parachute in instead of like working their way up.
Yeah, they never went through an apprenticeship, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, they're kind of like just not aware of what's really needed for to make great products. So. I mean, I don't want to trash MBAs too much here, and I actually do have a dual undergrad, Wharton undergrad, and physics at UPenn. So, so I have like, I have direct exposure to business school, and I went, to do undergrad business school with physics, but and I was a teaching assistant for 2 semesters, and I graded MBAs and undergrads. But I think it's just a little bit too much, like people look at MBA school as like, I want to parachute into being the boss instead of earning it. And like, I don't think that's good.
I definitely side with Elon and Sandy on this one. I mean, it's just logical. As Elon Musk said there, the idea of somebody sort of parachuting into the role versus working their way up / earning their way up. If you had to give me the choice between somebody who's got a piece of paper and a lot of theory and somebody who has extensive experience in this thing known as reality, I'll take the person with the experience every day of the week.
I've never really been a fan of short sellers. I don't know whether you have a comment on that.
Well, I think that there's very few areas in life where you can sell things that you don't own, and the short selling really where you can sell shares that you don't own. When I said it was vestigial, I mean it came from an era when stocks were traded by people traveling on horseback to exchange stock certificates. And in order to have the transaction speed not take weeks, somebody would say, well, the stock certificate is coming on that horse. I don't have the stock certificate right now, but I promise you that I'm getting the stock certificate, and the rider is going to be here. I'm in New York. The rider is going to be here from Chicago in 3 days, and then I'll be able to give you the stock certificate. Yeah. That's where this whole silly thing arose. Yeah. But then the problem is, like, the way short selling is used today is it's kind of like it's frankly used against the public. So most people aren't aware that short selling even exists. And then the ones that are, very few of them know actually how to use it. It's basically like 0.01% of stockholders know how to use short positions to get ahead. And it's like, I think, effectively a tax on the public.
I think it's immoral myself. I just don't think it's right at all. Yeah. A big group can come in and crush a company simply because, well, we're going to make a lot of money. I haven't made my quota this month or what have you. So I really don't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla was under massive attack by the short and distort, where they take a short position and then they do everything possible to trash the company in 6 ways to Sunday. And they were successful. And this has now happened to Tesla twice. It happened in 2013, and it happened in basically 2017 through 2019. I mean, the intensity of the attack was crazy. And I was like, man, this it would like cause you to lose faith in humanity, the degree to which this went on. and like we don't have shorting in like private companies. The vast majority of companies, over 90%, are private, and you cannot short them. And yet somehow we get private companies get things done. So there's a perniciously false effective markets argument made for shorting, and but it is vice disguised as virtue.
Well, at the end of the day, we had a common adversary, and I'm really hoping that now, because he's bet on oil, and Biden has basically clobbered oil in a lot of different directions. I'm sure that he'll be skeptical about doing any more trades on the short end.
Well, I'm going to take the opposing viewpoint here. I love short sellers. In fact, this is a great opportunity to send a sincere thank you, my deepest gratitude to every single short seller of Tesla stock during the period of 2016 to 2019, while the company continued to execute, grow revenues, further their lead, improve their technology, winning, yet the stock did absolutely nothing. So thank you so much to everyone who was short Tesla stock and allowed me to buy at a massive discount. I really mean it. Thank you so much.
The most exciting thing that's happened to me in a long time was driving that the self-driving I'm telling you, it's just
Sure.
it blows your mind. Are you gonna let anybody else have that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were going to roll out the full self-driving to the whole fleet and make it available to the whole fleet. We're just being very careful about the testing, and I think there's actually sort of a dangerous middle ground that we have to be careful of, where the system is good like 99.9% of the time, and then that could lead people to be complacent, and then but then that one time where it's got issues that we don't want people to basically, it can be so good that you get comfortable, but not necessarily good enough to handle all of the corner cases. So we want to just make sure that in that transition to full self-driving, it's really we're taking as much care as possible.
Yeah. Well, I was happy with what we had on the autopilot. It's the first time I've ever gotten a chance to see what the scenery looks like. I always just do lines.
Yep.
Now I can have a look around and feel comfortable or confident that
Yep.
my hands are on the wheel, and if something goes wrong, I can correct. But I can
Yeah.
also enjoy what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I said this publicly, but basically, a car that does not have self-driving in the future will be about as popular as a horse.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
exactly
like horses
right.
they're still horses. People have horses, and a horse is not what you use for day-to-day transport.
No.
Yeah.
But even a horse will get you home sometimes. If in the olden days they'd get drunk,
Sure.
fall asleep in the buckboard, and the horse would take them home. Self-driving, as far as I'm concerned, we're just getting back to horse.
Well, I think actually that's one of the things we were going to program into the car. That if you fall asleep in the car, it'll just take you home.
Yeah.
Like it's most likely that's where you want to go.
Yes. And that's a great idea. Yeah.
And then we're even going to have it like so. If it detects that you're having issues, it'll take you to the hospital. Like if you say just like
Having a heart attack or something like that.
something like it'll just take you straight to the emergency room.
This will be an incredible life-saving feature when it's available. If you guys aren't aware, sudden medical emergencies are actually a major cause of injuries and deaths when driving. Just imagine if a driver of a vehicle has a medical emergency, loses consciousness, becomes unresponsive, etc., and the vehicle, rather than continuing on its trajectory and becoming a gigantic death machine, is able to recognize that the driver is not responding and take them to hospital.
Well, I think I mentioned this already. I think that the self-driving feature is going to save more lives than seat belts, airbags, and every other thing that we've done to cars combined, because that's the way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, worldwide, there's about 1 million people a year die in car accidents, and that's a hell of a lot. And yeah, so.
You can see the emotions welling up there, and Elon obviously feeling a huge amount of empathy and compassion for people who suffer, people who are injured, people who die, people who lose loved ones, etc. through accidents that are preventable with autonomous software, which doesn't get distracted and long-term will make far fewer mistakes than human drivers.
There's like 10 million people that get seriously injured, so it's like, we got to hustle on this.
Yeah, and why not? We got the technology to do it. So.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks very much, Elon.
All right.
Anyways, I'm so flattered.
welcome.
I'm so happy that I got a chance to meet you.
All right.
Talk to you, shake your hand. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
So I hope you guys have found this video insightful. Some incredible insights into Tesla's engineering and manufacturing progress. I mean, can you imagine deleting 2/3 of the robots, parts, processes necessary to produce a vehicle? It's absolutely insane. And while Tesla's lead in technology and manufacturing continues to accelerate at an ever faster rate, legacy automakers are asleep at the wheel. And unfortunately for them, they're not in a Tesla with full self-driving that can take them to safety, therefore rip legacy automakers. And speaking of full self-driving, let me know in the comments below, when do you think Tesla will deploy their full self-driving beta to the entire fleet rather than just a few select individuals? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.